My name is Sesh Seshagiri. I'm the responsible for product solutions at Intel Services. I know it's late in the day, so I'll keep my talk very short, so won't get between you and the beer and pizza outside. So I'm going to be talking about managing subscriptions, payments with Salesforce and Intel. Intel has managing subscription management and payment system, and this is a product that we are leveraging to monetize digital data, right? Digital data and assets based on usage. And there are some challenges in that, and I'll walk you through some of those challenges and basically talk about where we are leveraging Salesforce. So here, if you look at an enterprise and the applications and data that the enterprise deals with, you can kind of characterize that into multiple buckets. So there's public APIs, so data and APIs that are available, like for example the social and web and API marketplaces. And then there is data that is critical and sensitive and resides within the enterprise, right? So that is private, and you expose that data using the private APIs. Often, one of the key challenges that an enterprise faces is how do you use this data and build applications? What scale can it operate in, right? Do you have as many developers inside the enterprise, or do we need to leverage the developer ecosystem outside, right? So, for example, if you were to build two applications, for, let's say, one for a partner, one internal, it is doable. But let's say you have to build 1,000 applications, then you don't have the developer strength to do that. How do you solve this problem? So we have the API management platform. So it's a secure way of exposing your data and assets via APIs securely to external developer community in the ecosystem. You basically have a platform that does all the documentation out of the box, developer tools, SDKs, API keys, and obviously methods of effecting payments and generating the billing. So the other key thing is API traffic. So you have to worry about for whom is this data relevant. Are they authorized to consume this data, right? So you have to look at the access and access control and security and authentication. And then you also have to see how frequently they are using the data. That's mainly about traffic metering and management, right? How often is this data being accessed? That's a key question. And then you have API analytics and reporting. So you generate reports on actual usage, you meter that, and then you generate the reports, look at the trends, and perhaps use the data to get some additional insights through analytics. And then when you build apps, this could be for apps for mobile, it could be for web, it could be for any medium, right? So API management platform allows you, it exposes a single API that can be consumed by many channels, right? And what you have here, I mean, you can use the platform across multiple verticals. It could be like, gaming, it could be healthcare, and so on. So What I will go through in this presentation is take one use case that we jointly worked with Salesforce. It's around case exchange. It's in healthcare. It's an example, but you can kind of extend that to any vertical that requires you to monetize based on usage, right? So as I said, the key challenge is monetizing digital assets. We talked about the developer ecosystem, third-party developers that can help you scale to a large number of applications. But then the data is yours, and that's the data that you can monetize, right? So monetize digital assets, and then security and access control is very key. Basically like auth and role-based access, I mean, those are key issues. And then you need to make the user experience very, very clean and very intuitive. So one of the key challenges is how simple you can make the business operations. So single pane, reporting, dashboard, and analytics. And this is an area where we have leveraged the Salesforce solution because the Salesforce, the reporting dashboard, CRM, the workflows and business workflows, everything come out of the box. And a lot of times the customers already have invested in this type of platform. And we are using the Intel platform, Intel Mashery platform for the first two, monetization and security. So publishing and monetizing APIs. So who are the consumers here? So consumers of APIs could be partners, right? So if you are an enterprise, you may have a partner that's leveraging your data and developing applications. You could have your internal IT team that's building applications for internal users within the enterprise. You can have an open community, or you could just have lots of different applications outside, right? What the Intel Mashery API management platform does is it has capability to onboard and manage partners, package APIs as bundles and expose them, and then you can kind of monetize that using various rate plans, right, based on usage. And then you have ways of managing traffic, SLAs. Again, this platform, you can think of it, I mean, you can have this platform on-premise version, or you can deploy it in a cloud, in a private cloud. Both models exist. And then key thing is the analytics and program refinement. You basically look at how the usage pattern is, how frequently it's used, you get all the data, you analyze it, and then possibly you can change a few things in how you offer, and then it all happens iteratively, and you could do it in real time. So managing traffic in cloud or on-premise, so that both models exist, on-premise or hosted data center. You have federated SSO, single sign-on, and you have like some key data protection type of capabilities, like you don't want to expose sensitive data like a social security number, right? Or like your patient name or like credit card number. These are all sensitive data, and you have like, we have a technology called tokenization. So you can kind of encrypt that sensitive data and anonymize it. So it kind of, when you display on dashboard or something, it doesn't compromise the privacy aspect. Okay? So what we have, I'll go through a specific use case where we have leveraged this and the partnership with Salesforce. So at the bottom, you see the Intel Mashery API Gateway. So this is a standard product that is GA and is available, right? We use this in like telco. We use this in e-commerce type of situations. It's a generally available product. So it's called Intel Mashery API Gateway for service creation and for payments and settlements. So there's two flavors of this, right? And then we have the Intel Mashery API management. So this is also a generally available product. So what we have done here is basically put together multiple products in a solution with Salesforce, right? Here in the demo, if you have some time, I'd strongly encourage you to visit our Intel booth that is just outside on your right, where we have a system that actually shows the dashboards and all, how we have leveraged Salesforce and the Intel platform working together, right? As I said, in the demo, we've used a hosted AWS cloud platform. It could be, it doesn't have to be that. It could be like a private cloud or your own data center, or it could be on-premise. So we have a different flavor of the product, which is an on-premise version. And what we have leveraged is the bottom platform is mainly for monetization, right? So we have the capability for managing subscriptions, for doing real-time metering. As and when events come in with certain usage, we can meter that, and at the end of, let's say, a billing cycle, which is a month or a week or whatever it is configurable, you generate a billing record or a charge record, right? And we have the reporting capability. The middle layer, which is the Intel Mashery API management, so this does the security and all the other functionality, like backward compatibility of APIs, the traffic control, partner management, those kind of functions, right? Authentication, role-based access, it's all the security is kind of enforced at that layer, right? Again, that is available on-premise or in the cloud. What we have leveraged the Salesforce platform is mainly for the user management. I mean, Salesforce, as I said, comes with out-of-the-box CRM capability. Lot of customer scenarios that we see is they already have Salesforce. They've paid for the license and everything. So we don't want to kind of manage a subscription separately on a different platform, but rather leverage what is existing on the Salesforce and kind of integrate via APIs, right? And then Salesforce also has a very rich capability on dashboards and reports, right? Very powerful, and the user interface is excellent. So that's what we have leveraged. And what we've done is all the heavy lifting in terms of monetization or in terms of security and API management, we have leveraged the Intel platform. And then the Salesforce platform is mainly for user management, CRM, and reporting, dashboard, analytics, those kind of things. Here in this example, we have a case exchange system. So think of it like, in a healthcare scenario, you have a hospital or a hospital network, and there are patient MRI images, right? Or any electronic data record or anything like that, right? In those scenarios, today, if you look at it, these images are basically burnt onto CDs, and they're taken from one specialist to another specialist and hand-delivered, right? You can basically walk up from one floor to another, go to the radiology department, and then hand over the CD. Now, that's a very inefficient process, right? And the idea here is to store everything in the cloud and then basically provide the capability to share and collaborate online, on the web, and be able to monetize that collaboration, right? So that's the kind of use case that we have considered. And the case exchange system is actually a much larger system than what the small box that you're seeing here. It's actually a repository. It does collaboration and management and lifecycle management of cases and so on. And what we have shown here is, like, since the Intel platform is able to rate the usage and produce the billing according to the usage, we use a usage API. So every time some digital asset like an image is shared, it has certain properties. Okay, this image is 500 megabytes, and it's one case, and and this image was shared between a radiologist and a kidney specialist, for example, right? So that is a usage event. And on the Intel platform, we can provision rate plans, which basically are, okay, over a period of 1 month, I can use a block of 1,000 cases, and I charge $100 a month, right? And you can kind of create more complicated rate plans, saying if a case is more than like 100 megabytes or something, then there's some extra charge. I mean, it's kind of like that. And if you go over the limit, a monthly threshold, then there's overage plans. Just like, in telecom, you have like, monthly voice plan, data plan, and SMS messages, and so on. So very similar, any generic use case. Here in this case, it's basically image data, right? So what we have done here is basically 3 different workflows. The provisioning workflow, which is like create the contract, create the rate plan, create the customer, and then associate the customer to plan, right? So plan here is the rate plan, like what I said, like a monthly rate plan. So it's kind of like a product or a service catalog, right? All the the first few steps, these are all happening on the Intel platform. Basically, management of the subscription, management of the rate plan, and management of the contract, and so on. What you see on the right side is the life cycle of the customer, right? So here, that's all done in Salesforce. For example, I create a customer, and I associate a customer with the product or the plan here. And that workflow is something that is effected from Salesforce.com, because now you are looking at customer management and that workflow, right? So it is conceivable that everything can be exposed as APIs to Salesforce, but that's something that could be done. But for this demo, we have leveraged the create customer and associate customer to plan. That's what we do at the Salesforce layer. And then usage notification metering. So as and when cases are getting generated, there is a usage, and then basically the Intel platform gets a notification of that particular usage, that, okay, every time an MRI image is generated, that's basically usage, right? So we can meter that in real time on the Intel platform. And then you have the rating and CDR and reports. At the end of the billing cycle, we aggregate all the usage events, we meter that against the rate plan, and then generate a billing record, right? And then these billing records are made available to the Salesforce.com. Again, we have a couple of ways of doing that. One is we can expose reporting APIs, which can be sucked into the Salesforce system, or we can do plain FTP, right? So at the end of the billing cycle, you have all the raw data, the billing records and everything, and you are basically FTPing it to the Salesforce platform. So the reports can be daily, ad hoc, summary, and detailed. So again, this is the part that's very important, because you're looking at simplified business operations, right? So one part of the operation is creating the customer and associating the customer to a product, right? So that's a provisioning workflow. The other workflow is reporting. So there, if you are a finance person, you should be able to look at, okay, what is my aggregate billing over the last 6 months, right? And break it down per customer, right? Or I may look at, okay, all the 10 customers that are using this service, what is the aggregate billing over the last 2 months? So this is like slicing and dicing of like the raw data and generating meaningful reports that make sense to judge how good my business is doing, right? So I talked about an operation manager role. So this is something that is facilitated out of the box from Salesforce, right? I can create a operations manager, I can add new customers, I can add new contacts, I can look at the product catalog. As I said, like the product catalog here in this case is the rate plan. So that rate plan is actually created on the Intel platform, but then it can be exposed as API and then it gets into the Salesforce, right? And then you can provision orders. So basically, you can associate customer to the product or the plan. And then you can look at the customer contact information, you can look at the customer list and so on. So these are all the tasks that are relevant for an operations manager, right? And then you have the financial analyst. I kind of touched upon this, where you can look at all the reporting, all the billing. It could be ad hoc or it could be historical reports, and you can slice and dice data and display in a very flexible manner and customize the reports very nicely from the Salesforce platform. You can look at aggregate usage and charges, display trends and projections and so on. And then you have the admin role. In this, it's basically a super user. You can do all the tasks, all the capabilities, right? You can also assign roles. You can create a new user which is restricted to do a specific set of operations. That's also possible. So that's the admin role. So as I said, this demo is, we are hosting it in the booth just outside this hall, and you can actually see how we have integrated and what kind of reporting data that we have, how is it displayed and so on. So from the how we are leveraging the Salesforce.com for this. Yeah, so these are some demo links. So I can just quickly click through. Let's look at the financial analyst. Okay. It's not connected to internet. That's fine. So if you need to see the demo, it's the booth is just on the side. Yeah. So any questions you have?
Do you guys automate provisioning of the software or the service?
Yeah. So good question. So since everything is provisioning is via APIs, you can write bulk scripts, bulk provisioning scripts. You can invoke those APIs and then basically provision. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So bulk provisioning scripts you can write. Yeah.
Then are you able to handle like mid-cycle proration?
Yes, yes. I mean, that product is deployed in many telcos, so it is pretty seasoned. Mature. Yes. We do the rating, we do the metering, we generate the billing records. We can even handle the contract and settlement, right? Use cases like revenue sharing, right, and taxation. So all those things are provided by the Intel platform. I mean, basically, put this. So the bottom part, which is the Intel Mashery API Gateway for payments and settlements. So that's the one that does that functionality of metering and subscription. And the API Gateway for service creation, that's the one that does the brokering, right? Service broker functionality. And basically has capabilities of doing REST to SOAP conversion, those kind of things. I mean, anything going outside, right? So, yeah, right, yeah. It has that capability. Any questions? I guess it's pizza and beer time. So thank you very much for your time, and hope you have a great Dreamforce.